Gravel and adventure bikes are really hot right now, and beside me are two of the hottest bikes you can currently buy in this category. In green, it's a new and updated Mason Bokeh, and in blue, it's a Fairlight Secan. Now, both of these bikes are really capable and super versatile. You use them for everything from gravel racing and bike packing adventures to touring, commuting and road riding. You name it, these bikes can probably do it. Now, in many ways, these bikes are very much the same. They both have clearance of wide tyres, including on-trend 650B. They both got disc brakes. They both got geometry adjusted for road and off-road use. And they both have lots of eyelets for extra racks, bottle cages, and, if you're a UK viewer, mud guards. But there's one big, crucial difference that separates these two bikes. The Fairlight has a steel frame with a carbon fork, while the Mason has an aluminium frame and a carbon fork. The price is also about the same for the frame set, at about £1,100, £1,200 here in the UK, and various builds available depending on your budget. So, lots of similarities, one key frame difference between them. What they like to ride? Well, let's go for a spin and find out. For reference, each bike was similarly spec'd with the same 650B Hunt wheels and WTB Sendero tyres, inflated to the same pressures and ridden over the same test loops here in the Cotswolds. Right, let's do the Mason Bokeh first. And this is a great example of a gravel bike, and the frame is a class demonstration of Mason's skill with tubing shapes, paint and graphics. It looks absolutely top drawer in this new attention grabbing green. The Bokeh has a very sporty ride with plenty of snap when you're pushing hard on the pedals or turning the handlebars. It feels precise when you're threading a tricky line through a narrow tree-lined trail trying to pick the fastest line between A and B. Direction changes come quickly to the Bokeh when you're hurtling through the woods. It feels quick on the road too, the frame doing a good job of transferring power when you're gunning for the top of a climb. You can easily fit some fat, slick tyres and, gearing aside, keep up with faster roadies on a club run or smash out a daily commute. It's right at home on the road, with neutral handling that lends the bike an easy grace when carving through country lanes. With knobby tyres fitted though, it transitions well from road to gravel, dirt and mud with ease. Exploring the off-road capability of the Bokeh is what it's all about. Single track, fire roads, bridleways, all are game on with the Bokeh. The shorter reach and higher stack gives the Bokeh good agility when navigating off-road trails and tracks. The higher bottom bracket improves pedal to ground clearance and is generally better in very tight corners. The Bokeh is ideal for stringing together local off-road paths and woodland tracks with sections of road to make your riding a bit more interesting. And it's fun, it's so much fun. The Bokeh will tackle just about anything, and with the 650B tyres, it doesn't feel a million miles away from a rigid mountain bike. Onto the Secan next, and there's no denying it, I have a soft spot for a steel frame. This is an expertly crafted Reynolds 853 frame. I just love the ovalised top tube, the neat cable routing, and especially the rear disc brake mount design. And it all comes together to create a bike that not only looks beautiful, but rides beautifully on the road and trail. If comfort is important to you, the Secan just nudges ahead of the Bokeh. It transmits less of the jarring impact forces when the tyres collide with a rock or root, leaving you feeling a little less battered at the end of a ride. The frame just manages to tame the harsh vibrations to ensure riding across lumpy terrain is as comfy as it can be without suspension. The beefy carbon fork also ensures the front of the bike feels direct, yet without transmitting too much shock through to your hands. Handling is pretty relaxed, it has to be said, on both bikes, with a head angle that's slacker than a road bike and a rangy wheelbase, but the Secan's short fork trail gives it the edge at lower speed. It feels ever so slightly more lively. The weight disadvantage of steel is pretty low these days, it has to be said, and both these bikes weigh about the same. For a bike that is likely to take some abuse, the durability and reliability of a steel frame can't be underestimated. Both are composed at high speeds, of course, on the road or loose gravel. The Bokeh perhaps displays a hint more stability at the limits of the gearing range, so might be the gravel racer's pick. Geometry numbers are very comparable size for size, with the Secan being a little longer and lower. The Secan also gets an extra point for its proportional geometry, with two stack choices for each frame size designed to help you get the perfect fit. Both bikes then are supremely fit for purpose with close similarities. The Bokeh has a greater feeling of urgency, while the Secan is more compliant and forgiving on rough terrain. Each bike can be ridden with a wide choice of tyres or wheels, including 700C. Wheel size and tyre choice comes down to personal preference and trail conditions. But since both bikes offer wide compatibility, you're free to choose and experiment. 650B tyres provide a bigger volume, allowing lower pressures, ideal for comfort and traction when it's loose and muddy, and the trade-off on the road isn't as big as you might expect. For outright speed though, 700C still has the advantage, but for spending the majority of your time off-road and in the woods, the smaller wheels definitely do appeal. In summary then, these are both highly capable and super versatile bikes that are loads of fun to ride and full of character. They both look fantastic as well. They both weigh about the same and cost about the same. So splitting the differences between the two is quite tricky. Which would I choose? Well, ideally I'd have both in my garage. I like them each that much. But for now, I'll stick with my own personal Fairlight Secan.